The late morning sun drifted through the faded curtains of Aunt Juliet's living room, washing everything in a warm gold that did not match the cold air inside. Mercy stood at the edge of the room, folding a pile of washed clothes quietly on a stool. Behind her, Princess lounged on the couch with her phone, chewing gum noisily, scrolling through Instagram reels, laughing at something only she found funny. Their mother, Aunt Juliet, was pacing from the kitchen to the living room, her eyes darting at Mercy every now and then, like she was watching a rat that might steal something. "You, hurry up with those clothes and go and scrub the bathroom," Juliet snapped suddenly, like she'd been waiting for the perfect moment to interrupt Mercy's thoughts. Mercy lifted her eyes, slow and calm. "Yes, Ma." Juliet narrowed her eyes. There was something in the way Mercy responded now. She couldn't place it. It was the same words, the same voice, but not quite the same girl. Something was changing. Mercy walked quietly to the bathroom with her cleaning bucket. As she poured water into the floor, she heard Juliet's voice behind her. You think I don't notice the way you've been walking around with your shoulders high? You better be careful, Mercy. Whatever it is you're hiding, don't let me catch you." Mercy looked back at her with a soft smile. "I'm not hiding anything, Auntie." That smile. Juliet's lips curled as she stormed off. She didn't like it. That girl was planning something. She could feel it. But she didn't stop there. The few weeks that followed, Juliet was becoming visibly unsettled. One afternoon, as Juliet sat behind the counter of the supermarket, her face wrinkled with worry, she called Princess aside. "That girl is hiding something. Or maybe up to something," she whispered. "Find out where she goes. Watch her closely." Princess rolled her eyes. "I don't have time for that, Mummy." "Just try before she takes us unaware," Juliet replied. The sun was high, the air thick with heat and impatience. Inside the supermarket, the tension crackled like static. Mercy stood quietly near the side counter, the coolness of the air conditioner doing nothing to calm her nerves. She had only come to help out as Auntie Juliet had instructed. But then Princess shouted, "Where's the N5000? It was right here!" Her voice rang through the store, loud enough to turn heads. Auntie Juliet, who had been seated behind the counter fanning herself, shot Mercy a sharp look. "You," she pointed, "you were near this place last. Did you take the money?" Mercy looked up, confused. "What money?" Princess stormed over. "Don't act dumb. You're the only one here who could have touched it." "I didn't even go near the drawer," Mercy said, calm but trembling inside. "I only arranged the shelves, then sat to rest a little. I didn't even come near the counter." Before she could finish, Auntie Juliet yanked her crossbag from the chair and opened it without asking. From inside, she pulled out N10,000 a folded bundle of old notes. "See?" she shouted, holding it up triumphantly like evidence in a courtroom. "She took it. I said it. You were up to something, so it's my money you have been stealing that is giving the confidence you have been possessing lately, right?" Mercy's eyes widened. "That's mine. I've had that." Auntie Juliet's palm landed across Mercy's cheek with a slap that echoed through the walls. "Thief! I knew bringing you from the village was a mistake." Customers were watching, unsure what to say or do. "I didn't steal anything," Mercy whispered, one hand on her cheek. "Liar!" Princess yelled. "Ungrateful house girl like you." Mercy opened her mouth to speak, but her voice failed her. The tears that had threatened all morning finally broke free. But just then, a deep male voice rang out from the entrance. "How can you accuse someone who owns this entire building of stealing from it?" Heads turned. A tall man in a fitted navy blue suit walked in, followed by another man with a leather folder under his arm. "Mr. Oho." Princess blinked. "Who is that?" Juliet stood frozen. Mercy stared, her mouth parted. Mr. Oho walked straight to her and gently took her arm. "Are you okay?" She nodded slowly. "What did you say?" Auntie Juliet asked, eyes darting from Mr. Oho to the man behind him. "You heard me right," he said coldly. "You just slapped your own landlady. Mercy owns this shop and the flat upstairs. You're a tenant here, Juliet, a tenant who is 3 months behind on rent." Princess staggered back like she'd been slapped herself. Juliet scoffed. "What nonsense is this, Mercy? Own what?" The second man stepped forward. The lawyer. Same man that had come before from the new building management, she recognized him now. He opened the folder and held up a document. "This is the deed. It was purchased 2 months ago by Miss Mercy Thompson. Payment was made in full. The property has been transferred to her name." Juliet shook her head. No, that's not possible. She's just an orphan I brought from the village. She can't." "Yet she did," Mr. Oho said sharply. The lawyer continued. "This shop was acquired alongside your residence in a legal purchase. Your rent expired 3 months ago. Notices were served but ignored. We are here today to officially give final verbal notice. Vacate the premises in the next 14 days or face legal eviction." Princess gasped. "Mummy." Auntie Juliet swayed slightly as though she might collapse. "Wait. Mercy. Please. This must be a mistake. You can't do this." Mercy looked at her auntie. Really looked at her. There were no insults in her mouth this time. No fire. Only silence. But it was loud enough. "I begged in the rain while you watched. You made me sit in mud because I brought food late. You humiliated me in front of strangers over and over. You called me useless. But today, I won't return that pain. I'm just here to take what belongs to me." Juliet's knees buckled, and she sat down on the floor, dazed. "I never thought you were this kind of person," Princess muttered, still trying to process it. Mercy turned to leave, but just before she walked out the door, she paused. "I don't need to punish you," she said softly. "Life already has a way of doing that." And then she left, quietly with dignity, leaving behind a woman whose pride had just been shattered into pieces on the floor of the very shop she once ruled over. The customers whispered as they returned to their shopping. Mercy didn't look back. The rain came quietly that morning, not with thunder or violence, but with a steady softness that soaked the gutters and darkened the sky. Inside the once busy compound, the shop stood closed. No generator buzzed. No customers stood outside. Just silence. Heavy, awkward silence. Juliet sat on a plastic chair by the veranda, arms folded tightly across her chest. Her wrapper was loosely tied, feet bare, eyes sunken. Princess leaned by the wall, scrolling endlessly through her phone with a blank face. The eviction notice stared them in the face, printed in black and white, and pasted directly on their front door. "Final notice. Vacate in 3 days." She tore it down the first day, but another came the next morning, and again the next, each one colder, firmer, more final than the last. Juliet hadn't opened the shop in 4 days. She thought about all the loans she needed to pay back. Business had been slow lately. She just used her last money to restock the shop. Where will she get money to rent another shop and accommodation in 3 days? The worst is everyone now referred to Mercy as Madam Landlady. The whispers in the compound were loudest in the evenings. "That girl was the owner all along?" Juliet heard them all. And it burned. That morning she made one last phone call, to a man she hadn't spoken to in years. "Frank," she said with a shaky voice. His sigh was immediate. "Juliet, what do you want?" I need help. Just 100,000, just to sort out something. I'll pay back once things are better." He laughed. She wiped her face quickly. "Please, I'm begging you, for Princess and Henry, at least for the children." There was silence. Then the line went dead. She stared at the blank screen. Tears came slow and sour. The knock came in the afternoon. Hard. Loud. 3 men stood outside, uniformed, firm, carrying a lock and eviction order. "Ma," the eldest of them said, "you've been given 2 weeks' notice. Today's the last day. Please gather your belongings. We are here to secure the premises." Juliet's heart raced. "No, wait. Please, just give me 2 more days." "We're just doing our job, madam." Within minutes they began removing things. The fan, the table, the kitchen stools, one mattress. Princess screamed, "Don't touch my clothes, this is harassment." But there was no mercy. The shop keys were collected. The signboard with Juliet's name was unscrewed and taken away. The door was changed, and the gate was locked behind them. By evening, Juliet sat on the pavement outside the compound, her children beside her, surrounded by bags and boxes. A few neighbours peeked through curtains but said nothing. The woman who once ruled the neighbourhood with insults, who shouted from balconies and bragged about her properties, now sat quietly, a worn-out wrapper across her shoulders, face streaked with dried tears. Elsewhere, Mercy stood at the balcony of a 2-story building where she watched everything. Life had changed, but her heart was still soft. Mr. Oho, who was standing next to her, "They're out," he said. She nodded. He paused. "You don't have to go out there, Mercy. You owe them nothing." "I know, but you still want to." "I'm not doing it for them." She stepped out, umbrella in hand. When Juliet saw her, she rose slowly, not with pride that was gone, but with shame bitten down. She didn't speak. Mercy held out a white envelope, dry, crisp. It was thick. Juliet blinked at it. "What's this?" 200,000 naira, Mercy said softly. "Enough to find a place and settle for now. I've paid 3 months' rent in your name for a small flat in Agada. It's not much, but you won't be on the street." Princess gasped. Juliet's lips trembled. "You're mocking me." "No, I'm freeing myself," Mercy whispered. "Because bitterness doesn't build empires, but kindness, it gives me peace." She turned to leave. Juliet stood dumped right there in the rain, trying to process if everything was a dream as Mercy walked away. Umbrella in hand, head high. A landlady. A businesswoman. A girl once mocked for dreaming too loudly. She couldn't understand how a poor orphan became rich and powerful overnight. And her daughter, who had everything, were on the street like beggars. She tried to speak, but no words came. Just a few tears escaped her eyes. The morning sun cast a golden glow across the newly tiled floors of Mercy's supermarket. A glass signboard gleamed at the top, bold silver letters spelling Maven's Mart. Polished trolleys lined the entrance. Staff moved in neat uniforms, wearing warm smiles and name tags. The building had transformed. Nothing remained of the old supermarket Auntie Juliet once ran. This was a new world, and it belonged to Mercy now. Mercy stepped out of her office, a soft emerald dress flowing down to her ankles. Her heels tapped rhythmically on the tiled floor. A deep breath. She smiled, not out of pride, but quiet gratitude. She had come far. "Ma'am, the caterer's just arrived," said the assistant. "Let them begin with the cocktail tables," Mercy replied gently. At that moment, a black Lexus SUV pulled up to the front. The door opened, and Mr. Oho stepped out, suited in grey with a small walking stick. Beside him, a tall, broad-shouldered man in a fitted blazer followed. His steps confident, face partly shaded in dark sunglasses. "Uncle Oho," Mercy beamed, walking over. Mr. Oho smiled wide, embracing her warmly. "Look at what you've built, my daughter." She turned to the young man beside him. "And who is this?" Mr. Oho chuckled. "Oh, forgive me. This is my first son, David. Just got back from the UK, finished his 2nd degree in international business." David removed his sunglasses and met Mercy's eyes. "You're Mercy," she smiled. "Yes, and you must be David. Welcome to my little empire." He looked around impressed. "Little?" He laughed softly. "This is a proper business empire, Mercy. You've done something incredible here." Their handshake lingered a moment longer than necessary. Mr. Oho chuckled quietly to himself. Inside the supermarket, customers started flooding in. From neighbours to business people, even a local journalist had shown up to cover the launch. Shelves were well stocked with imported and local goods. POS machines beeped, trolleys rolled. Laughter floated from the children's candy aisle. Mercy gave a small welcome speech, simple but powerful. No arrogance, no bitterness, just hope. "From nothing to this," she said, glancing at the old corner where she used to scrub floors. "God rewrote my story." Applause erupted. Mr. Oho watched with glistening eyes. David stood beside him, arms folded, smiling. After the event, David approached her again. "You said something earlier about stories being rewritten. I'd really like to hear yours over coffee, no pressure." Mercy hesitated, smiled, then nodded. "Coffee's fine, but it's a long story. I've got time, he said, his tone gentle. That evening they sat outside under the umbrella canopy near the smoothie bar. Mercy sipped her cappuccino while David leaned forward, curious but respectful. She told him pieces, not all, but enough, about her auntie, the pain, the land, the supermarket. No one ever saw me, she whispered. They just used me. But look where you are now, David said. You didn't just survive. You built something. You bloomed. Mercy smiled softly, still blooming. The ceiling fan spun slowly, clicking every few seconds like a clock counting down despair. The heat in the small one-bedroom apartment was stifling. Auntie Juliet sat cross-legged on her bed, staring blankly at the half-empty bag of rice by the wall. Her wrappers were loose and faded, her scarf half-tied. The room smelled of evaporated dreams. Princess sat on the cold tiled floor, her knees drawn up to her chest. Mummy, she whispered, I'm hungry. Juliet didn't reply. Her arms rested limply on her lap, eyes bloodshot and distant. On the table, scattered loan papers and demand notices lay like landmines. Microfinance bank, cooperative online apps. The shame had become a second skin. I sold off everything, Juliet mumbled, mostly to herself. My freezer, my milk cartons, my Indomie packs, even the last Milo packs. And it still wasn't enough. Her lips trembled. God, what did I do to deserve this? Princess scrolled her phone in silence. Her eyes were red too. She paused, then suddenly gasped. Mummy, what is it? Mummy, look. Juliet turned. Princess held out the phone to her. A reel was playing on Instagram, soft jazz in the background, beautiful camera transitions, laughter, flashbulbs, red carpet, a sweeping aerial view of a massive new supermarket. The caption read, Grand opening, Maven's Mart, the biggest supermarket in Surulere, owner, Mercy G. Princess scrolled through the video. The entrance was marble-tiled. The glass doors opened with sensors. Staff wore matching uniforms and ushered guests inside. A smoothie bar, bakery section, tech corner, pharmacy, stationery. Juliet squinted, leaning in. That building, it looks... Princess tapped to pause and zoomed in on the outer structure. The whole building had been transformed into a mini mall. It was the same building, but it looked nothing like their old supermarket. This was a mini mall. No, Juliet's voice cracked. No, no, no. Princess stared at her. Mummy, that's our shop. She turned it into this. Juliet's hands flew to her head. She rocked back and forth. She bought it. That's what she did. That girl, she planned it all. Princess didn't speak. She was trying to stay strong, but the tears came anyway. We used to have that place. Now we're here, like rats. Juliet wept, her voice broken. Everything. Gone. Everything. Princess moved beside her and hugged her tightly. The video kept playing. Mercy was giving a speech, a soft smile on her face, staff clapped, someone beside her. A tall young man held her hand briefly before stepping aside. It was all so peaceful, so opposite. Princess wiped her face. Mummy, what are we going to do now? Juliet couldn't answer. Her cries filled the room. That night they didn't eat, and the lights went out. It was a bright morning. Mercy sat in her office upstairs, surrounded by soft lighting and glass walls that overlooked the newly opened supermarket below. The place was busy, customers coming in and out, the gentle sound of carts rolling across the tiled floor. A knock came on her glass door. Come in, she called. The door opened, and David stepped in, dressed in a crisp shirt and dark jeans. His sleeves were rolled to his elbows, and he carried a brown folder in one hand. I brought the land files you asked for, he said with a smile as he walked over to her desk. Mercy looked up, already smiling. Is it the Abeju property? He nodded. Yes, 5,000 square meters. It's in a fast-developing area, clean papers, no court cases, and it's right near the new road they're building. She opened the file, eyes scanning the documents slowly. This is a serious investment, David. He leaned slightly against her desk, his tone calm but sure. Yes, but it's a smart one. You're not just building a supermarket, you're building something bigger. Just like your dad did. Mercy's eyes lifted to meet his. My dad bought his land when no one saw the value. That investment made me a billionaire today. David smiled. That man had vision. She closed the file, then stood from her chair and picked up her handbag. Let's go see it. The sun beat down on the open land as they arrived in David's SUV. The plot was dry, flat and wide, with a small wooden fence marking its corners. Mercy stepped out in sneakers, shielding her eyes with sunglasses. This is where it starts, she said softly, walking across the field. David joined her. Another seed planted. She turned to him. Sometimes I still feel like that same girl sitting in a pool of muddy water outside a shop. He looked at her seriously. You're not that girl anymore. You're strong, focused, and you've built something with your own hands. A soft breeze passed between them. Mercy's phone rang. She checked the screen. It was her lawyer. Hello? She answered. The voice on the other end was warm and clear. Congratulations, Miss Mercy. Payment has cleared. The land is officially yours. Her eyes lit up. Thank you. She ended the call and turned to David. It's done. The land is mine. A wide smile spread across David's face. I still can't believe how far I've come, she whispered. You've only just started, David said. And Mercy, I was thinking... She raised her brow. Dinner, tonight. Just the two of us. Her lips curled into a smile. I'd like that. From that evening on, it became their quiet routine. Every Friday and Saturday, after her part-time classes at the University of Lagos, David would wait for her outside in his SUV. During the week, Mercy focused on her business. She'd expanded the supermarket into a small shopping complex, employing over 30 staff. She started buying more land, investing in real estate just like her father had. 15 plots in EPE, 10 plots in Ibejuleki. Her name was growing, her business was multiplying, and so was her bond with David. He wasn't just her friend anymore. He was her calm place. The one who believed in her, even when she doubted herself. The one who stood beside her, not because of her money, but because of her heart. One quiet night, Mercy turned to him and asked softly, Why me? Because you're different. Because, even with everything you've been through, you're still kind. And you haven't lost your heart. She turned to the window quickly so he wouldn't see the tears, and in that quiet moment, she knew. She wasn't just building a business, she was building a life, and she was no longer building it alone.
Thanks for watching. What lessons did you learn from this? Drop your comments below. And if you enjoyed this story, please hit the like button and subscribe for more powerful tales that touch the heart and stir the soul. Your support helps bring these untold stories to life. See you in the next one.